Universal scraps the Hunt release following gun violence uproar. And this is from Pamela McClintock and Trilby Beresford. THR.
Yeah.
So
Our last story.
sorry,
of
that
the
was our
season.
last story.
Our last
story of the season.
It's a big one.
This
too.
is a huge
Yeah.
one.
This is a lot of
Shay
thoughts.
mentioned this to me yesterday, and I was shocked when I read about it. But Universal has decided to scrap the release of The Hunt, an R-rated satire in which elite hunt deplorables for sport, following a series of mass shootings across the country. This film had been set to hit theaters in September 27th of 2019. What do you guys feel about this? Like, what are your takes?
So obviously, it goes without saying that the events that happened in the states,
El Paso,
and Ohio are awful. But I think the biggest thing here, and we've been seeing this a lot with people calling out video games as the issues. I think these are distractions. At the end of the day, this is people focusing their time on not putting movies out, trying to take video games off shelves, or not marketing video games. That's distracting from the real issue that's going on in the States.
Correct.
Yeah.
And again, we're movie podcasts. We're finding we're doing stupid things here on the podcast, but there are very real things that happen in the world, obviously, and we're not solving any issues here, like discussing it. But I think it's important for us to at least voice
Our opinion on it,
it and what we think on it. And again, for me personally, I think that this is just energy focused, so we don't look at the real issue that's happening in the States, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is shocking. It is shocking to think that this movie or that game is putting that person who's, shooting up these poor people, putting a gun in their hand. You know who they should blame? Are the people who make the gun, who sell the gun,
right.
who put the bullets in the gun,
Right.
who know that what they're about to do is evil. That's who they should blame. They shouldn't blame the movies. They shouldn't blame the games. Maybe these people have psychological issues, but there is an issue that a gun is Constitution and it's your right.
Right. That's part of the Second Amendment, right?
Second Amendment. And
Yeah.
we're Canadians. We're Canadians.
yeah.
Like,
So
we see this from outside this box that I would say America's in right now.
Right, yeah, very much so.
And I don't get what their fascination is with this gun.
it feels like when I look at the United States, and shout out to our viewers there or listeners there. Sorry, and I hope we're not being offensive at all, but we're just trying to give our opinion. It really looks like the Hunger Games there. Like,
Literally.
the United States looks like they're all trying to just survive every day, and I'm like, wait, hold on, what? Like, this is one of the biggest, most influential countries out there.
Yeah.
How is this happening there? How is this like, okay, Joe over here shot everybody. He used a gun. He bought a gun from Walmart. He has a history of following Donald Trump and believing in all the supremacy, white supremacy, all that racism that he believes in. Has maybe played a couple of video games in his life. Let's blame the video game.
Yeah, let's ban video
blame
games.
the movie. And I heard Universal's also scrapping almost all the trailers. They're taking out
they paused the marketing for this movie first,
100%, yeah.
and then they decided to just remove
ridiculous
it from
in
their
my
schedule.
opinion. I think this is completely ignoring the fact that's out there. This movie, it's a movie. It has nothing to do with what's happening out there.
Right. Universal went on to say, "We stand by our filmmakers and we will continue to distribute films in partnership with bold and visionary creators, like those associated with satirical social thriller, but we understand how that now is not the right time to release this film." This one was slated to come out, like we said, at the end of September. What do you guys think the future is of this movie? If we're looking at just this movie right now, does this come out on like a Netflix? Does Universal say, hey, you know what, now is the time? By the time this movie comes out, God forbid, is there going to be more mass shootings? Is that going to, like, you know what I mean?
Well, there's always going to be more mass shootings.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just so silly to me. Because
they're going for a record this year, the USA, of how many
apparently
mass
so.
shootings
You
they can
know
have,
what I mean?
right?
Like, we had the one on the Friday of last week, and then
within 24 hours, right?
within 24 hours, another one happened, right?
So
And
here's
it's
the
just
thing, like there's never going to be a time to release this film
No.
because it's like they haven't solved the problem in the United States of gun control.
No.
So you can't then never put this movie out. This movie has to never come out then, because you feel like you've already put yourself in this hole of this film is not appropriate to come out right now.
Right.
You're right.
So there will never be a time for this film to be appropriate.
No, and we've seen this before, obviously.
But now you're censoring the creativity of
Right.
of the writer, the director. People like produce this, right?
Yeah.
So there's all the money went through it, and
Right.
where does that go? Like,
Where does-
that's just a loss on
It is,
Universal's.
yeah. And it's super. I don't understand why this is the focus. And Universal, again, this is their movie. They could do whatever they want with it. But again, by them, I think doing this, I think it's super cowardly.
It's very cowardly.
You know, Universal makes some of my favorite movies of all time, but for them to kind of bow down and submit to this, I don't think that's the right move for them. Like, I wish they would have stood behind it. Sure, pull the marketing for it right now, but at least give some type of plan for it. It's just silly to me that, again, this is the focus. This is not the issue. This is a distraction.
And I'm looking at it and like, maybe we're missing something. We don't live in the States. Maybe
Right.
we're not seeing the bigger picture here.
If you're,
I'm trying my hardest to
Yeah.
realize what am I missing that this is a right call.
It's extremely reminiscent of when Columbine shooting happened,
Right.
and the immediate focus was Marilyn Manson and Eminem and South Park and video games.
again, video games has been the issue since the 90s.
But that's the thing,
Right.
like the
The issue.
this
sorry.
is quote unquote. That's exactly what happens. You have this mass shooting, and then it's never the right time to talk about gun control for some reason.
No.
It's always the right time to talk about everything else that had nothing to do with it.
Right. That's the line that we always got fed, right? But for the United States and the government is now's not time, or not everyone in the government, but with certain leaders,
Republicans.
now's not the time when it happens. Now's not the time to talk about it, right? Yeah. I mean, we saw, you don't see too often. I guess the politics side of what happens in the real world affect the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that really comes to mind right now is after the Aurora shooting.
Yes.
Which again, very close to home for us is
Wow.
we live in the movie theaters,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I remember being super on edge going to the movies after that, and the fact that
When Dark Knight Rises is coming in.
Dark Knight Rises, that's what happened
That's
in
when
the Dark Knight
Gangster-
screening,
Gangster
right?
Squad-
And Gangster Squad changed a pivotal part of their movie because there was a shooting in the theater, and it was actually in the trailer for
That one,
right?
but the thing is, that one I kind of get.
Right, because it's like time and place of it, right? Like
Right.
I think if that was to come out now, there wouldn't be as much of an uproar
No.
about it, right? But because it was literally that,
Yeah, the
time,
scene
right?
was the Gangster Squad showing up and shooting up
through
the
this-
theater,
right?
a movie theater. So I totally get that.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, 'cause
I
it
can
was-
understand
was
that
just-
more.
It was happening also too soon.
Yeah. Well, they ended up pushing the movie as well.
Yeah.
For the reshoots, but
Well, of
again,
course, right.
it's just one of those things. We don't always see, the politics side super reflect what happens on the movie side. The Hunt, we spoke about the trailer 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
or a week ago, and again, it wasn't something that we were super excited for.
No,
but it was just something that I'm, as somebody who loves movies, as us who
Yeah.
love movies, we're gonna fight to
Protect it.
to protect that as well
Yeah.
too, right?
It had an interesting concept too, because it was these people are being hunted, but then the hunted become hunters and hunt backward.
Right, and they even said too
hunters.
that it's not about the elite. Like the concept is obviously the elite in whatever the state's hunting the poorer people, but the movie is from the perspective of the poorer people coming back.
out, yeah.
It's just strange because again,
Yeah.
how does this change for any violent film that's coming out? We have the Joker coming out; it's premiering at TIFF. Joaquin Phoenix is getting an award from TIFF for his performance. How does that change when we have
That'll probably have some mass shootings in that film.
you know what I mean?
or mass
Or
death.
people
Murders.
who
Yeah.
take you know what it's
It's just
it's not, but
yeah.
that's the thing. It's these are movies are escapism, right?
Yeah, I'm just stretching my neck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna he was having a moment.
I thought you were going to full Joker there.
yeah,
No.
All right.
but yeah,
well,
it's again. What more could we say that hasn't already been said with this topic?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that Universal made this decision, but I think at the end of the day, this is a distraction from the real issues that are happening out there right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.